This has kind of pumped me up to try Final Fantasy XI again. While I had always sort of had my grievances with Final Fantasy XI as a game and my difficulties with bouncing off of it and stuff, I still always consider the soundtrack in my top 5 favorites of the series. I think the soundtrack's incredible. Welcome back to the State of the Arc podcast. I am Mike, and Kason is with me, but he's here remotely. Feeling sick today. What did you catch?
I have no idea, but it's not pleasant at all, and it's affected my voice quite a bit.
Well, you've been having all kinds of issues with your voice over the last year or so.
This is correct. This is true. I've lost like half of my falsetto range.
That's crazy. Like permanently? Like forever?
I'm afraid that it's permanent, but I mean, we'll see. Vocal cord injuries, either they heal or they don't.
And this is due to an acid reflux problem?
Yeah. Acid reflux that I didn't realize was getting all screwing up my vocal cords. And but right now what I have no idea, but it's like deep in the chest. It's really not good.
All right, so he's remote today. But Kason and I are joined today by 2 guests from the community here at Resonant Arc, because neither of us have, well, I probably have more. Have you played Final Fantasy at all? Final Fantasy XI, Kason?
Not for 1 minute.
Okay, so he has 0 experience with the game. I have started a character, I want to say, twice in the 2000s, twice in the 2010s, and then once as recently as I think 3 or 4 years ago. And have always gotten up to about the same point, which is roughly 10 to 15, maybe maximum 20 hours into it, and have bounced off of the game. For reasons that are not important to go into today, I am not, it's a public record at this point, I'm not the biggest MMO guy. But one thing I have always loved about Final Fantasy XI is its original soundtrack, which is absolutely stellar. It's outstanding. But because we haven't played the game much, there's a lot of expansion content that neither of us are familiar with at all. So we've brought in Eric and Greg to talk about Final Fantasy XI. We'll start with you. Eric, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Eric. I'm a frequenter on the Discord channel for Resonant Arc, and big time FF11/14 enthusiast. If you see a conversation of that game come up, you'll likely find me following quickly behind it. Yeah, everyone can attest to that on there. And but basically my FF11 career was all the way back in 2003 when they came out in North America. And I pretty much got it the first day. I was super excited to get it. I was only like 13 years old at the time, and played pretty much extensively until about 2010, and went off from there. And I came back around in the early 2020s or so to play all the expansions that I missed out on, and I don't play as much as I used to anymore now that I'm a parent, but I do like to hop on time to time and do a couple things I can solo by myself.
And you go by Velhart on Discord if anyone wants to look for him to talk about FF11. That's who you'll find there.
Correct.
Okay. Greg, tell us a little bit about your experience with Final Fantasy XI and also your YouTube channel where you talk about Final Fantasy stuff too.
Yeah, so my name's Greg. I'm a massive fan of the Final Fantasy series. I've beaten all of the mainline games with the asterisks of 14 I'm still playing through. I've beaten A Realm Reborn and recently Heavensward, and been loving my experience with 14. As far as my experience with 11 came out 2003 in the States, so I was 13, and my parents wouldn't get it for me because it was expensive and we had dial-up internet, so just like an MMO was just like not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I was sort of a big fan of the Final Fantasy series, but kind of fell off around 12 because that was when I started getting heavily involved in music. Ended up moving to Nashville, Tennessee, and had a career as a musician where I did Like I was in an orchestra, I did jazz, musical theater, hair metal, did a film score, and basically like stopped playing video games for 10 years. And then gradually my wife and I started playing the Final Fantasy games together. And so I started to revisit entries in the series I had missed. And Final Fantasy 11, I just assumed I'm never going to play this game. It's a 20-year-old MMO, whatever, doesn't even have a story. And I started watching the story cutscenes on YouTube because I was curious. And and gradually the story got better and better. Like, oh my God, this is one of the best Final Fantasy games in terms of story. And so I decided to take the plunge and actually try it out because I knew the promise of good story was there. So I wanted to see how the gameplay interacted with it. And, you know, spoilers for the future, but I ended up falling in love with it. And now I consider it like a top 5 or 6 Final Fantasy game, including all the expansions. It's one of my favorites.
Nice.
And I made a lengthy YouTube video, which is the only video on YouTube that goes over every single expansion the game has had from launch to the Voracious Resurgence, which started its storyline in 2020, but wrapped up in 2023. And so most people thought, oh, 11's been dead for years. Like, dude, mainline story content came out in 2023. So my video sort of become a centerpiece for like showcasing the beauty of the entire game. Because a lot of people only focus on the first couple years, but there's such a long history and so much great stuff that my video was trying to like wave the banner and celebrate the entire history of the game.
Cool. That's absolutely nuts that there, I guess, you know, World of Warcraft still is still supported in that way, but it's crazy to think that a more than 20-year-old MMO is still getting like new, large, expansive story expansions. But you know, there's a player base for it still, which I think says a lot. So anyway, those of you who have seen our other videos in this kind of series we've been doing on the Final Fantasy music, the music of Final Fantasy, right? We've done 1 through 10 at this point. We took a little bit of a break from that. I think some people were thinking, you know, they just covered the ones they like and like everything post 10 they're not going to go over. And so no, we're getting back onto that now. I love the music from Final Fantasy 11 a lot. It's actually, despite, you know, bouncing off the game a number of times, I think my best memories of it are just me, you know, whatever the sprint toggle right on the keyboard that just makes your guy run, and I'm just like following the person who's like leading me through the game and just running through these landscapes, but listening to this incredible music. And so this is one aspect of the game that I think is absolutely worth talking about and worth sharing some of our favorites. So we're going to go through some of our favorite tracks from Final Fantasy XI today. To talk a little bit about the composers for the game, this is right around the time where Nobuo Uematsu left Squaresoft. So you have the merger with Square Enix happening right here around the same time. Hironobu Sakaguchi is getting ready to leave and found Mistwalker. There's a lot of change internally. And I think that they even moved the Square offices to a place that would have been really far away from where Uematsu lived, and he didn't want to have to do that kind of commute. And so he ended up working on the game as a contractor, at least partially, through some portion of the game's development, because it was in development for a long time. But he had 2 other composers working with him on this one, just like on FF10, but 2 different composers than on that game. We have Naoshi Misuda, who I would call the principal composer of Final Fantasy XI. Would you guys say that that's accurate? He did all the expansions, right?
Oh, 100%. Like Nobuo did like 5 or 6 tracks for the base game, and Kumi Tanioka did contribute a lot to the base game, and she also did the Crystal Chronicles series. Like, and obviously, you know, we love Nobuo, and Kumi's great, but like Nobuo's been doing this game for 20 years. Yeah. Like, that's he's the guy. He is the guy, at least in terms of 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe the plan was always to give full reign to Naoshi Mizuda. I think Uematsu came in for the base of it to help get things started off, because they can't account for having Nobuo to get involved every single expansion. So I think this was basically, hey, let's get Mizuto comfortable in the role, and then I'll let the training wheels off, and he can go off and do the expansions as he sees fit from there.
Yeah, and Mizuta has been with Square Enix ever since then, I believe. And he's done a ton of other great work too. One kind of obscure one, but if you guys have heard of, anybody in the audience, Final Fantasy IV Heroes of Light, he did the soundtrack for that game, and that's a really interesting product. In some ways, it was kind of like a precursor to what became the Bravely Default series, though it doesn't play a lot like Bravely Default. But it's a really interesting title because it was directed by oh geez, I'm forgetting his name right now. The Final Fantasy IV assistant director. It's with
Takashi Tokido.
There he is. That you got it. There. Thank you, Greg. You got it. Takashi Tokido directed for Heroes of Light, and it's a really interesting little title that in a lot of ways like has its roots in like the classic sort of design philosophy of the series. And Mizuta did the music for that game. But
He also did the music for Dimensions 1 and 2, which I think were also both Tokita games. So,
yes. So he's done a lot of work with Takashi Tokido in his projects that he works at with Square. So yeah, I really, really like Mizuta's style. When we did the music episode on FF10, we talked about how the composers that worked with Uematsu on that game, while like the sound, we love the soundtrack, there's a big sort of variation or difference in stylistically in how, say, Hamauzu writes music from Uematsu, and you can kind of hear that. But one thing that I really like about Mizuta in particular is that his sound, while you can find parts of it that are, of course, distinct to him, I think really is complementary to Uematsu's style. And so it's a little bit harder if you're just listening to it to like pick out, okay, that's Uematsu, that's Mizuta, that's Tanioka.
I think of all the composers in the series, he's the most similar in style to Uematsu in terms of like being the closest and comparable composers.
Yeah. And so, as I was kind of going through and listening and preparing for this, I found that was true. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's really interesting. So I think that the Final Fantasy XI soundtrack, even more so than 10, has this really nice congruency in terms of musical style where like there's not I don't want to use the word discrepancy in a negative way, just in the sense that you can hear the stylistic difference between composer A and B. It just kind of like really flows from one track to the next and all really feels like it belongs together. But I will say that I think that Mizuta is the one who kind of sets the tone here and sort of creates the identity for the soundtrack and is more or less the principal composer, even though Uematsu was involved in the base game. Mm-hmm. Anything you guys want to add to that in terms of the history or the composers or anything like that? You got it?
No, I think we got it covered.
Okay. That's about all that I wanted to cover in terms of like the development side of things. Cause I just really want to get into the music itself. Cause I have a lot of tracks here that I want to listen to, even though I haven't played this game a lot. There is a lot of music here that really, it's like burned into my brain forever. Right.
Nice.
So the first piece on the soundtrack here, as I pull it up, is what's called the opening theme. And this is what plays during like the opening FMV of the game, which is a little bit, it's like 20 years in the past from the time that the gameplay takes place in. It follows a little boy named Aldo, who I believe becomes a character later on in the game, in the expansions. Is that right?
Yeah, it's kind of like retroactively added later, but they do confirm that is the character Aldo, who is a prominent character in expansions after the base game.
It felt a little bit in terms of how the FMV movie plays out that Aldo was more or less a stand-in for who the player character is, but of course you're going to create your own character. But it seems like maybe after that fact, like once the expansions started coming out, they actually made him into a character within the broader story. That sound accurate?
Hmm.
Okay. So anyways, it's the story of this little boy, Aldo. He and his sister, it looks like they're kind of retreating into a city. And then it gets attacked by beastmen, an army led by the Shadow Lord, who is the principal antagonist of the base game. And as the city is overwhelmed and they're retreating into some caves, he gets separated from her and she's killed. And, he ends up growing up and maybe returning to this city 20 years later with like a big group of other soldiers. So this track, I'll go ahead and just start playing it in the background. I really, really like it a lot. It starts off with the prelude, the Final Fantasy prelude. But it gets into this really interesting difference in the descending crescendo that's a little bit unexpected.
It's very happy-go-lucky,
yeah.
whimsical, and it just starts going down further and further into the very dark.
Yeah. And then you've got this nice brass, and I think this is the part where he's like holding his finger up and he's like measuring the castle on the hill kind of in the distance, like with his fingers like this, right? And then you get this marching theme. And this is what I would say would be kind of like, let's see if you guys agree, the musical foundation or maybe like central identity of the music of Final Fantasy XI is almost this marching snare. You get it a lot, especially in like the battle music in the Vana'diel March, which is kind of like the game's main theme is the Vana'diel theme. Vana'diel's the name of the world of Final Fantasy XI. So there's kind of like... Go ahead.
Because it's a communal thing, and so when you think of large militaries, and you got the upbeat drums, and so this is a communal experience. So you want something that feels big and like an entire group is doing something together.
Yeah, exactly. And so you'll hear that like marching snare as like a motif used like all over the soundtrack. And so you heard it a little bit there. You go a little bit further in the music, you can kind of get into the more this darker, sadder part as the city is overwhelmed. You get this big battle scene. But I think if we move forward to, let's see, about 4 minutes in. In fact, it's at 3:47. So right at 3:47, there's a flute that brings in this really beautiful melody that is used at various times in the soundtrack too, that I love.
I like the flute in general. We get a lot of these woodwinds, and in particular, this kind of flute sound, and a lot of the themes that I picked as my favorite songs here had a very like human feel to it. Instead of the bombastic, big, brassy music, it's more of a more somber, maybe a more kind of a few friends around the fire kind of thing. I like that we're almost going through like multiple different themes within this opening song. We have the prelude theme and then the more marching theme, and they're kind of introducing us to the different, I don't know, just what the game has to offer all in this intro.
It's a medley. It's motifs from the game. This flute melody is a motif that gets remixed. Like there's one version with like electric guitars, one version that's more like a ballad, but that's a major musical motif in the same way that, Aerith's piano motif is spread throughout 7. So it's just one of the main motifs of the game.
Yeah, it's great. And this piece was done by Uematsu. But the next one, the very, very next one on the track list here is Vana'diel March. And this one just brings a smile to my face every time I hear it. This, on top of being, I guess you would call it the game's main theme. I mean, they use it in the credits, so I would kind of call it that. But it's the music that plays when you're creating your character. And so
it feels good.
Yeah, you tend to spend a lot of time on this screen, right? As you're picking your race and your eye color and your height and which characteristics you want to have. I've spent a lot of time on this screen, as I'm sure a lot of other people have. And I don't know, it's a really, really nice character creation theme.
Yeah.
And
also,
go ahead.
it's got like an adventurous kind of feel to the music,
Yeah.
but it's very subdued. It's almost like pre-adventure, right? Like you're about to go on an adventure. But you're not
Yes.
there yet. And
Yep.
that's kind of, it sounds like that's what's going on here. By the way, I'm listening to this music with no context, right?
Yes.
But that's kind of the feel I get. Is like, oh, there's an adventure ending, and we're
Yeah.
doing something else while this song is playing.
I like how Mizuta works the Final Fantasy Prelude
Yeah.
arpeggios
Yep.
into there as well. That's really nice.
So I have to be the actually guy, just so you don't, I don't get yelled in the comments. Each of the different races have their own musical theme as
Oh,
you're
you're
creating them.
right. You're correct.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
This is actually where Kumi Tanioka comes in. She is the one who did the composition for each race. Because
Oh.
if you listen to them, the themes feel distinctly like her, like as opposed to Mizuta and Uematsu's. Like if you listen to the Meter theme alone, it sounds like a 80s theme song.
Yeah.
Like an exotic 80s theme song.
Yeah.
That feels a little out of place at first, but it works its way on.
Yeah,
you.
I was surprised by that. So while I was going through the track list, in fact, if so, this music would be for the male Hume, right? Like the Vanadil March, or is there actually a different one for that?
There's a different
Um,
one for the male. It's track number 24.
Yeah, let me bring it up here. I was listening to this and I was like, oh wow, these are really different. So here's the male Hume theme here. It's taking a second to pop up on my screen. Running a little slow. Okay, here it goes. Yeah, this one.
It still has the pre-adventure feel.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
It feels very similar. Again, that marching snare, right? But if you go to the Hume female, it's a totally different feel. And I was really surprised by that because I think I've only been a Hume male every time I've played this game. And
Yeah.
so I was listening, I was like, whoa. It's like it's
Like
a little bit of
jazzy.
whiplash, right? But it's good. What race do you guys usually play as, or have you done multiple ones?
I'm always a boring human.
Me too. I always tend to do that.
It just feels right.
I
Mhm.
actually picked. I only have one character, but I picked Tarutaru.
Tarotaro.
What I really love about the Tarutaru is that when you're playing the game, it's something I realized as I was playing through it. The proportions are the same as like the chibi sprites from the NES and SNES eras.
Right.
And so it's like that is transposed into the world of the game. And
Ah,
so I think that's a really charming, like clever way to call back the early titles with that design.
yeah.
And I don't know. I like cute things. I'm a sucker for cute things. You know, I like it.
I'm
He's
listening
adorable.
to the Tarotaro male theme now, which I think is really, really great. You have that. I don't know what is that instrument, that woodwind that's playing there, and it's like some kind of like
Flute.
it's a flute of some kind, but not like a
It's very airy.
yeah. It's a very airy flute, like a pan flute
Yeah.
almost. I don't know what you
Right.
would technically call that. It sounds a little bit like a pan flute, but I really like that. But then if you listen to like the Elvan female, it's like really different vibe to that character creation theme. Hold on, mine's
Well, let me
taking.
ask you, Greg. You've got experience in all kinds of musical genres. How do you feel about the like a full-on rock and roll drum set being used for the soundtrack?
You know, I think it's fine. It all depends on like the context of where things are used. And I think 11 soundtrack for the most part is pretty consistent in terms of instrumentation. There's a track I want to talk about later that uses very weird instrumentation for RPGs. And this is coming from a guy who likes the weird like violin, like guitar rock of the 13 soundtrack. And so when I say, that's a weird choice for RPGs, it is a weird choice, but I find that this is a very cohesive soundtrack even throughout all the eras. And so like there's no Otherworld on this soundtrack where it's like the screaming death metal. Like I think the rock drums generally work here and they don't feel out of place. But there's times where I don't think it's out of place here.
Okay, yeah, I don't have context within the game, but it is kind of shocking, like Mike mentioned. It's very, very different, especially with that opening theme. I didn't really get any of that there, and now here we are. You know, it's
Yeah.
just,
And there's
Yeah,
a couple other
very-
places where they do that I think are pretty cool. But go ahead, Eric.
Oh, I was just going to say it feels very rare that a theme feels out of place in FF11. It's even up to the very last expansions. It feels very consistent in tone with one another. Like the one thing with like FF14 is like the soundtrack is very different feeling each expansion, but in FF11 it just like you can listen to the whole way through and just it'll all like
It's all
feel the
congruent,
same
even
feel.
through the expansions. It all has a similar feel to it.
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
like that.
Okay,
And
so
a rock and roll drum set isn't foreign to Final Fantasy. It's
no. Uematsu used that all the
feels
time.
a little, yeah, it feels a little jarring sometimes.
Okay, so as we move into the next ones that I took down here, I wanted to talk about Final Fantasy 11. If you're like a Final Fantasy 14 player or something like that, 11 has a very similar, and maybe this is just true of MMOs in general. I haven't played too many of them, but there are 3 starting areas where you can pick to like begin your adventure. So you have the Kingdom of Sandoria, you have Bastok, I believe, the Republic of Bastok, and then the Federation of Windurst. And so those are you pick one of those 3 starting areas. And I have started in all 3 of them across my many attempts to get back into FF11 throughout the years. But I've spent most of my time, I would say maybe 3 out of the 5 times that I've tried to get into it, I've started in Windurst. Where did you guys start?
I almost always start in Bastok. I have gone through the Sandoria and Winder story, but if I ever start a character, it's always going to be there.
Bastok. How about you, Greg?
Yeah, I start with Bastok. I've done the storylines for all the nations because you're able to change your allegiance and do the nation. So I did all of them. Windurst is, I think, the worst one to start with because it's the hardest, and 11's already the hardest game. So you're making it harder for yourself by doing that. So like, the thing is, that's the best storyline though.
Yeah.
Like, that is by far the best starter nation storyline, but also by far the hardest to do. So I'm like, play Windurst, don't start there.
That's funny because I think the reason I kept picking it is primarily because of the music, but we're going to start with the Kingdom of Sandoria. So I think these 3 themes are some of the most important to like be really, really, truly excellent because these are the ones new players are going to hear a lot, right? They're just going to be repeating in the background as they're getting themselves settled into this new game world and trying to like learn how it works and figure out its mechanics and stuff. But Sandoria kind of has like these big bagpipes, right?
Yeah, I like it.
It's really nice. I think they nailed it on all of these, and I believe Mizuta wrote all of them, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check that real quick. So Mizuta did Sandoria.
I think Kumi wrote Bastok.
Okay, so yeah, you're right. Kumi wrote Bastok, and then Windurst was Mizuta. But all 3, I think, are really, really excellent tracks. And they again, I didn't ever finish playing this game, so obviously I had a hard time getting into the game. But like the music sends me back to playing with my buddies and like chatting with them as they were like trying to get me into it. So I have like good memories with FF11 almost directly tied with these musical themes because these are the ones I heard by far the most.
Yeah, these starting areas they all do such a good job encapsulating what kind of place it is. Like Sandoria is like a more regal, traditional, medieval type area. Bastok is like a more industrial, progressive moving type area, and then Windurst is like a magical one with nature kind of place. And each of the themes, I think, expertly reflect that and make you feel like you're in that type of place.
Yeah. Let's actually switch over to Bastok really quick. So we've got Sandoria there. Here's Bastok's theme. My internet's going a little slow, so it's taking a second to pull up for me. Here it goes. Yeah. Dude, all of them. I mean, all of them. Just immediately.
This is cool.
Just good memories, man. I just like all of this music. It's so fantastic.
I like 2 of the 3. There's one that I really don't care for, and
Really?
it's like, oh man, this one. The bagpipes, I actually like bagpipes a lot, but I just find that bagpipe MIDI tone that they're using
the
to be
sound
particularly
font.
grating.
On the
But,
Sandoria track.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're not there yet, but there's there's an expansion where you travel into the past and go to the past versions of the different city states.
Right.
And there's like a Chrono Trigger type thing situation where you're going back to like a period of war. And past Sandoria, which wasn't on my list because we have so many songs, I'm trying to keep it brief.
Yeah.
But that is great, and I love that one. But I had to cut the line off somewhere, especially with other people contributing songs. I'm like, all right, but so I love past Sandoria. Present Sandoria, I recognize it as a good composition, but the bagpipes unfortunately do not work for me. Other two, I love and adore.
I'll have to go listen to that now because I didn't realize they had another take on the theme. I'm going to jump over to Windhurst here, which is my favorite one. This one, like the melody to this one, I don't know, man. It's like hardcore burned, tattooed like into my memory. Because this is the one that my buddy Kenny McLean and I would always jump into. He loved the Windhurst area, and so I would just follow him around in this place, activating all the crystals for fast travel and like all that stuff, and getting the early game quests. I really love the percussion in this one. In particular, it's really kind of varied and nice. It's got a little bit of that foresty sort of, I don't know, I guess you'd call it almost jungle-like theme that you tend to hear in RPGs, right?
Yeah.
It's a really
this
good
is
one.
very cool. It feels very like down to earth, very earthy.
Yes.
Not so big.
One with nature type of
Yes,
nation,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, maybe like you also hear this later on too. There's like hand drums and
Yes.
tambourines and just like a pipe flute that you could make yourself out of reeds or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just very like human feeling. It's very cool.
Greg, you put something into the chat here. What did you put?
Yeah, I sent you the past Sandoria thing because this might be a good time to bring it up.
I
Since
wanna
my
hear
other, I've got the past versions of the other two in my list. So if we go to Wings the Goddess, skipping ahead to 2007, but Stargazing is the past version of the Windhurst theme. Thunder the March is the past version of the Bastock theme. And then Griffins Never Die is the past Sandoria theme. And each of them really, it's like the 680 music in Chrono Trigger, where you just get the sense of this like bleak, war-stricken land, and how each nation's theme still represents that nation, but gives this level of like bitter sweetness to the city-states. And I really love Wings of the Goddess and that time travel Chrono Trigger going back to that era of the war aspect of it. So I figured, all right, we're doing those. It's a good time to get into that.
Well. Yeah, I haven't heard this version of it. This is the Griffins Never Die, or did I click the right one?
Yeah, Griffins Never Die. So that's Sandoria in the past, and I love this one. It's a completely different track. Like it's not sharing the same melody,
Yeah.
Right.
but it's sharing a sort of similar sentiment of like this regal atmosphere, but this regal atmosphere that's under times of duress and war.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nice.
whereas like the current day, it's like each place sounds peaceful and like he said, like these sound like it's at times of war.
Yeah.
What these themes would be for these nations.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's really nice. All right, let me get you guys back up here again on the screen. And we'll go to my next one here. So the next one that I want to talk about is Ron Farr. Is it Ron Farr, Ron Fair, Ron Farr, I think?
Ron Fair.
Ron Fair.
There it is.
Yeah, it should be like the third track on the list, or fourth maybe. This one, if I think FF11 music, this is the one that comes into my head for whatever reason. It's like this melody is like the first thing I think of when I think of FF11 music. I don't know why that is. If you guys have more insight on that, because you're nodding your head to that, Velart. Eric.
Well, the beauty of the theme is that these are the first areas in the game you go to. These are where you go outside, and I can say this about Gustaberg and Saruta Baruta also, but you go out into the Ron Fair. It has its way of drawing you in and giving you like a small peace of mind that it's okay to step outside of the city and go and explore a little bit.
Yeah.
And because the theme keeps like building up and like you feel this need to go and explore inside the forest. And like you see a couple rabbits and worms and having
Early
fun
game
taking
enemies.
those down. until a random orc comes out of nowhere and slams you in the back of the head, lose your EXP, and go back to.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, this is the kind of game I'm playing.
Yep. Right. Yep.
But the track itself is beautiful in that regard.
Yeah, I love it. And this is, I think just one of the areas just outside of one of the. Is it right outside of Sandoria? This area.
Yep, it's the first area outside of
Yeah.
Sandoria.
So I would think that. I can't remember specifically, but I want to say the first time I played the game, I started in Sandoria. And so this would have been one of the first areas you go out into where you're getting into battles and like actually getting into kind of the main gameplay loop of FF11. And so I kind of just ended up associating this piece with Final Fantasy 11. And anytime I think of the music of 11, this is the first track that comes to my mind. It's great.
Many would agree with you because anytime there's like a FF11 crossover tie-in with like any other game, you can guarantee that like Ron Fair is going to make itself in there some way or form.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. I'm again not a Final Fantasy 11 expert here, which is why I brought you guys on. So it's cool that other people kind of have the same feeling. Now let's
I love
move.
the guitar.
Oh
I
yeah,
love the
yeah,
guitar too.
yeah.
And I get the feeling when I hear this that like you'll have a whole village of people that are like dancing around as they're playing the song.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like I can see it. It's awesome.
It's great. Okay, let's go to the battle theme. Now, all the battle themes in this game are awesome. And they all have that heavy marching snare influence in them. I would say the battle themes in this game rank really, really high for me as far as like the entire series in terms of favorites. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I like them. I don't know if they rank as high for me, but there's, basically battle themes for each expansion, and some do it for me more than others. But I mean, it's still a very good battle theme. It's just an embarrassment of riches with how many great battle themes are in the series.
That's very true.
If I keep it within the vacuum of the base game, this battle theme is really good. I guess like the one thing is that like you always start from the beginning of the battle theme when you fight a monster. So
yeah, you hear it a lot.
So you hear the beginning of it a lot. I guess
that's true
so
because
for,
if
MMOs.
if you're starting to level up a little bit, you'll hear just the beginning for like 5 seconds after you kill the worm or whatever, and then it goes away, and then you hear it for 5 seconds again. It goes away. I don't know if you remember this, case, and one of the very first rock remixes I ever did of like video game music was a Final Fantasy 11 battle theme, and I believe that you helped me on that, but this would have been like back before I left home and came down to Provo, and we started like living together and working on the channel and stuff. But yeah, I don't believe it was this one. I believe it was Battle Theme 2. If we want to skip over to that one real quick,
We were just trying to record our.
Is it Battle in the Dungeon or Battle Theme 2? I can't remember what's.
So there's 4 battle themes, I think, in overall. There's 2 open world ones where it's just Battle Theme 1 and Battle Theme 2. Battle Theme 2 is when you get into like the mid-level areas, and same thing with Battle in the Dungeon. The first one is the lower level area one, and next one's the mid-level.
Well, Mike,
I thought it was for whether or not you're in a party was the difference between the battle themes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken.
Man, I hate to be the actually guy again, looking like such a nerd.
No, I'm going off of going back in database of 20 years of knowledge for this thing. So correct me anytime I'm wrong.
Mike, I do remember you. I distinctly remember you telling me that fourth measure there, when it's dun 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 dun, and then
Dun, 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 dun.
it kind of gets the offbeat and then
Yes.
does something a little unexpected.
Yes.
I distinctly remember you showing me this song and telling me how awesome it was, but I don't recall. I don't recall actually helping out with the song.
Yeah, I believe you did. Anyways,
Like 15 years ago.
yeah, it was a long time ago, and I don't even think I have a file for that anymore. It would have been forever ago. But I really like the battle themes in general for this game quite a bit. So here's Battle Theme 2, and they all have a very similar feel. They all have that like marching snare, very similar kind of brass instruments. Here comes Battle Theme number 2. Yeah.
One thing I like is that they're not overbearing.
No.
Like they're you know, some of the Final Fantasy in particular, some of the battle themes can get pretty intense in a lot of ways. I don't know. This is one that can kind of sit in the background. It's minimalistic, only a few instruments. I prefer this type of battle music.
Which is
it's interesting you say that, because this type of game, you're going to be hearing this song a lot.
yeah.
I guess
For
that's a good thing.
hours and hours in a party. So either you turn it all the way down and watch TV, or
Yeah.
but I think they take that in mind, that you're going to be hearing that a lot when you are in a party with people.
Yeah,
Very good.
I think that that's something that's actually really key to consider when composing music for RPGs in general, but especially for MMOs. And I do think that, like, while this has like a sufficient level of energy and bombacity to it, it's also kind of soft. Like, there's not like
Exactly.
a lot of really sharp kind of like sounds in there. Even on the brass instruments, they seem to be just a little bit dulled on the high end in such a way to where it's just really easy on the ears.
Yeah, it's not as piercing.
Yeah, and so like I think that's really important when you're going to hear this for, like Eric was saying, hours and hours on end. I'm just going to jump over real quick to the battle in the dungeon number 2, and then we'll move on from battle music. But like I said, it's all pretty similar in feel. I like this one a lot. I like all of them, but I like this one a lot. This is a really, really good one. It's good stuff. Okay.
Nice.
The next one I have here is Gustaberg. This is one of the early starting areas, the one right outside of Bastock, I believe.
Yep, this
yep.
this one's great. I think because I started in Bastock, this left such a huge impression on me, because when I started 11, I was playing the game. I thought, I'm just going to be playing this game by myself. It's going to be so lonely, and just this desert in these mountains, and just felt so desolate. And then ironically, I made like a bunch of friends playing 11, but I just thought, is this just going to be what it's like? Just all sad and lonely. And it's great for that. And then like turns out it's not sad and lonely at all, but the song is great. I love it.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
one, like you mentioned, was not by Mizuta. This was by Kumi Tanioka.
Yeah.
So we get a little bit, but again, like it feels right in line stylistically with the stuff that Mitsuda is writing too. Like it all feels like it belongs together. They did a great job collaborating, I feel like.
Yeah, this one's my big nostalgia one. Also, like this is the one I first went out into, and it's just like I said, like with Ron Fair, it captivates you right away, and like you feel like you can be in there for hours.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Okay, next one that I had here was Saru to Baruta, which
Saruta Baruta.
Saruta Baruta, thank you. Which I believe is also
Something you'll find out with Tarus is they like to rhyme a lot.
Yeah, I think this
Once
is
again, that
also
guitar.
this is also one of the starting area themes, but for Windurst. So like when you leave outside of Windurst. So I heard this one quite a bit too, since I've started in Windurst more than any other starter area. And it's again kind of got that same. So Windurst is where the Tarutaru people are from, right? It's like their nation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
so like Sandoria is primarily Elven, Bastak is human Galka, Windurst is Tarutaru and Mithra.
Yeah. And my buddy who would play this with me, he always was a Tarutaru character. Actually, no, I think one or twice he did a Hume character with me, but he did a Tarutaru character, and I think that's why we were starting in this area. But it's great. It's great stuff. The next one I have on my list, unless you guys have others you want to bring up, is Voyager.
Oh, I see it.
Voyager is one that really stuck with me.
That's
Guitar, dude.
that's the ship theme, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Like when you're on the boat.
when you
yeah.
get on the ship and it goes between areas, right?
Yeah, it's a very nice song, and I love listening to it. But sometimes it gets interrupted by the theme song "Buccaneers."
Oh, is that
Which,
when
if you're a lower
you get
level-
battles on the boat?
Yeah, sometimes pirates invade the boat, more like skeleton pirates. But your choice is either, if you're low level, either be on the very bottom of the boat and hope they don't find you, or battle until you make it to one of the fishing ports.
Right. Yeah, I remember that actually now. I remember thinking, why does this take so long? Like we would get on this ship and we would just be like standing there for, 10, 15 minutes, like getting to the next area. But like you say, battles come up and stuff like that. But this music, again, stuck out to me as one that was memorable because you hear it so much as you're traveling around.
And
It's
listening to
very
this
nice,
music,
especially
too.
when you're fishing.
Yeah, fishing, big time.
It's funny that this music is making me want to play the game. Like quite
Yeah,
a bit.
right?
I've never really listened to this music before, although I suppose, Mike, you had shown me some of this in the past. I never really listened to FF11 before, but I found myself around this song and Saruda Baruda, that feel, like I just feel like I have to know what's happening here. And the music itself is the first time I've ever actually wanted to play Final Fantasy
Well,
11.
given your
I've never really
penchant for like village themes, right? You really like those town themes. This game
yeah.
is like a game of town themes everywhere.
I've noticed that, and I love it.
I think you would be really into it for that reason. Okay, and then I've got Recollection next.
Yes,
On
that one was
mine.
Mhm.
Where is it?
Beautiful theme.
Still looking for it in the list. It's
It
a
is
little further
35.
down. Okay, 35. There it is. All right, it's pulling up for me. My internet's a little slow, but this one's one of my
There's about-
favorites.
That motif again.
Yes, the one from the intro I was
Mhm.
talking about when he's separated from
Yeah.
his sister. It's that theme. Really beautiful. This one's played on a harp, it
Yeah.
seems. Of course, I think the melody gets passed. That's one thing that I have noticed about Mizuda's style that feels a little bit distinct to him that I've been able to pull out. What he likes to do, at least in this soundtrack from what I was listening to, he likes to like give you a theme on one instrument and then pass it to another instrument and then pass it to another instrument and then pass it to another. So it's a lot of repetition of the same theme, but it doesn't feel repetitious.
Right.
Oh, in fairness, this is Uematsu.
Yeah, Uematsu does that as well. But I
I said
really
this
know.
This track
Oh,
is
this
Uematsu.
track is Uematsu. You're right. So it's not this theme I'm thinking about, but he did it in this theme. But Mizuda, in like the Winders theme in particular, I think I took note of that. Like he really likes to pass that melody from one instrument to the next, and it kind of keeps it sounding fresh as it goes. I really like the way he does that. But
I
you're
like
right.
it a lot.
This is a very Uematsu piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
This track is used a lot when there's like a strong turning point in the story or like a revelation by a character, or it's used in a lot of different occasions. Greg could probably further expand
Yeah,
on that
it's
too.
like what the promise is to Final Fantasy 13. That main piano ballad,
Yeah.
like something emotional's happening. This is what this is used for. Except sometimes you get like the sick electric guitar version.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. The next one that I have is Mog House. I spent a lot of time in here too. Anyone want to explain what the Mog House is in Final Fantasy 11?
Yeah, it's essentially your go-to area to it's like your own personal room. Like you can put your own furniture and stuff in it, and you also have your own personal Moogle who holds all your items for you, because your character only has limited inventory space. So whatever extra that you don't want to carry around with you, you give it to the Moogle, and the Moogle will hold it for you. But even then, the Moogle has an inventory limit, and there's all sorts of quests you have to take to further expand upon those features. But that's what the basic gist of it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you change your class there, or is it just equipment?
Your whole job. You change
Okay.
there.
So you can change. It's basically where you do all of your customization for your character and things like that, right?
Mhm.
You're gonna
Yeah,
say
and that
something,
Moogle
Greg?
is involved in one of the best quest lines in the entire game,
Nice.
where there is a roof in your Mog house. There's a leak coming from the roof, and so then you go perform an exorcism, fight the mafia, and save the world.
That's
the Moogle
fantastic.
Mafia.
Moogle mafia.
Nice.
That's great.
It's like one of the actual few comedic side stories. Like it was like a mini expansion, and it was so odd to see FF11 go in a direction with that. It's like something you find common in 14, but not so much 11.
I don't personally remember this next one I took a note of, but my note on it was I have not listened to this in the game, but it's very Uematsu, and that is Sorrow.
Yeah, I
So-
don't think you got to that one yet.
Yeah, that would come later in the game, I would think, as far as where it falls in the track list. But listening to this, I was like, this could go into any Final Fantasy that came before this, and it would have fit. Like it's very Uematsu in terms of like his
Yeah.
style.
It's another event theme like happening during a cutscene. It's essentially when things are going south or like basically what it says, sorrow, when things are taking a wrong turn and
Yeah.
the plot's going in a bad direction, you'll hear that theme a lot.
Yeah, so kind of a repeating thing. And then the next one I took down was Despair. And I wrote that around 39 seconds into it, it opens up in this way that I found really surprising. And just, it made me say wow out loud. So I'm going to let it play here for a minute, but it's specifically right as we get to about 39 seconds into it. So I'm going to let the intro play a bit here so people know which one we're talking about. But there's just this layering of instruments kind of over the top of this big kick drum and bass, right? And it's kind of like a really synthy fat bass too, which I like a lot. Very Final Fantasy. But in about 9 seconds from now, you're going to get this really cool texture over the top of this that I thought was just splendid. Here it comes right now. Freaking love that.
Me too. This is like, it's utterly mysterious.
Yeah.
There's something beckoning me. It's calling to me.
I have no context for what is going on in the game during this. Any of you guys want to explain that? I'm guessing this is like
It's just in a bunch of cool cutscenes. Like
Oh,
this
okay.
one gets reused quite a bit. It's like
Yeah.
something dramatic's happening. Here's
Got
a
it.
dramatic scene.
Okay, so it's
You hear it
kind
a
of-
lot. It even goes into the expansions. It's like normal event theme
Yeah,
music.
it's cool. I like
Like
it a lot.
X-Files.
Yeah. Mysterious. Something's going on. Something you got to figure out. Okay, I have 2 more here. Awakening, which I'm assuming is like near the end, like final boss kind of thing, right?
I'm against Shadow Lord.
The Shadow Lord. The Shadow Lord's final boss game, right?
Yeah, for the basic.
For the
base
base game, yeah.
Mhm.
So I liked this one a lot. And I feel like I had heard this one quite a bit, even though I haven't played this far in the game. I think just in terms of as I would create best of mixtapes for the Final
yeah.
Fantasy games, this is one I always ended up choosing from 11 to put onto my mix CDs and stuff like that. I always really liked this one. It starts to open up
there's
here.
a prog rock feel to it.
Yes. And this one's written by Tanioka.
I mean,
But I love the percussion in this one. I think the percussion's really great.
me too.
It's great.
Battle itself is epic too. On top
Yeah,
of that,
I'm
so
sure.
it adds to it.
Yeah. And then Vana'diel March number 2, which is, I'm guessing, the end credits theme, which is, it's remixing the one we heard from earlier in the game. But in a credits-ly way that I like quite a bit. And as far as my picks and my experience and my ability to speak on the music of Final Fantasy XI goes, that is the limit. That is where I can go no further. So I'll let this play for a minute, but I'm going to pass it on to you guys to talk about any of them that we missed here in the base game, I guess, first of all, but then expansions as well.
I'll say this about this track is, unfortunately, I do have the end credits song on my list, but there's only end credits after Rhapsodies of Vana'diel. This one you actually hear a lot. after a
Oh,
bunch
really?
of quests. Like this is like the feel good, like we did it, guys. But you hear this one
This is
Ah.
a
post
lot.
adventure. This is a post adventure song.
Post adventure or post like you're like midway through the adventure, but you just made a good accomplishment in your adventure.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's like you've finished something, you've accomplished
something.
Yeah, yeah.
It
That's
feels
the feel that it gives off. But it's exactly the same melody as the one before that felt like pre-adventure, that felt like you're about to go. But you're taking exactly the same melody and making it feel like you've come to an end of something.
You've
And
come
I
back
think
there and back
that's
again, yeah.
yeah, there and back again. You could have just called it that. You could have called the first one there and the second one back again. It would have been perfect.
I think there's a big one we need to listen to on the
Okay.
base game that I think we definitely need to listen to is the airship theme.
Oh yes, which one is
For the
that?
base
Oh yeah,
It's just called airship. It's on the base game.
Which
Number,
track
list.
number?
32.
There it is. All right, I'm pulling it up now. Yeah, I don't. I
so-
thought I had put this one on there. This one's really good.
So you do not get like your own personal airship per se, within the game, but it's kind of like an airport. You have to go to a port through one of the
okay.
cities,
That's
and you
like-
have to wait at certain times for the airship to come in. And you can miss it. If you miss it, you have to wait like 10 to 15 minutes for it to come back around and get to it. But when you enter the airship and leave, this is what you hear, similar to the boat. And with Voyager, this is what you're listening to. And this is, like I said, this has got Uematsu written all
I was
over it.
just
This is
about to
like-
say that because I actually hear Fantasian in this. There's that kind of lead synth there that's like almost exactly like what he uses in a lot of the Fantasian tracks. It's really good.
like
But
it,
but like you were saying, Eric, it's kind of like Final Fantasy 14, right? 14's the same way where you go to like the airports, but you don't have to wait the 15 minutes if you miss the. That's not the way it works in that game, right?
Yeah, you could just go to the airship and they'll take
Just
you over to the place. But
Get on it whenever you want to go, so it doesn't work the same way. It's not realistic in the same sense. Where
Yeah, I
if
remember
you miss it, you
FF12.
missed it. You got to wait, just like at the
Yeah,
train
yeah.
station
Well,
in
that's how
real life.
MMOs kind of have to be, right?
Yeah, well, the difference is that in 11 you're on the ship with other players, so
Yeah.
you'll be interacting with people on the ship. Versus in 14, it's just a quick teleport.
Right.
So it's doing functionally something different.
yeah. True.
yeah. In 14, once you have reached an area, you can always teleport back to it. But the difference is you actually get your own personal little airships you can ride in 14.
Right.
So
That's true. Yeah. I just don't think I've gotten that far. I think in 14 I have my own chocobo that flies now, but that's it. I don't have any of the other flying vehicles yet. Okay, any
So,
others from the
yeah,
base game?
One more from the base game. Selbina.
Which
track
number is
number
that?
21.
Oh, there it is.
Mhm.
I had a feeling that this one should have been picked by me as well, and then I didn't for some reason. This is a great
this
one.
one is
Oh, this
very
one's so
interesting.
good.
This is just straight up Irish music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is-
This is basically the small fishing town where you enter the boat to get to the other one. So to get the Winders from like Bastak and Sandori, you have to take the boat in Selbina
Yeah.
over to Mara, and then that's how you get the Winders.
Or you can
but
just
yeah,
walk the long way like I did, buddy.
How long does
I'll
that
take the pirates.
I don't know. It didn't take
Right.
that long. I didn't realize you actually could take a boat there, so I just walked. I just looked at the maps. Like the maps say to go here, so I just followed the maps
walked
till
all
I
the
got there.
way.
If it's your first time walking, you'll probably take about 2 hours, especially if you're lower level trying to sneak around.
Yeah.
But once you know where you're going and you're high level enough, it takes like 30 minutes to go
Yeah.
through the whole thing.
That's still a long way. I mean, 30 straight minutes of walking through an MMO world, that's quite a long distance. Because it's not walking, you're technically runting. You know, you had this sprint toggle like hit down, and he's just like running forever. So that's quite a long way. Yeah, this is a great pick. Thank you for bringing that one up. Anything else from the base game?
Heaven's Tower.
Heaven's Tower.
That's probably one of the earlier ones. So in every city state, there's like a special area where the leaders reside. Like, and Winders is called Heaven's Tower, and it's a very something you like to sleep to type of theme. It's very magical,
Yeah.
whimsical.
I love it.
There's almost like a time motif here, like a tick-tock kind of.
Yeah, it sounds a little Chrono Triggery in a way
Yes.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that
The Heaven's
end of
Tower is
time
like this,
feel.
you know that giant tree that's like in the middle of the city. Like this
Yeah.
is when you enter inside that tree.
Oh,
and that's
gotcha.
where like all the leaders reside.
In Windurst, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good one. Okay, anything else from the base game? Are we ready to move on to the...
Do you think Juno's
Expansions.
worth listening to? It's pretty good, but it's not my favorite.
Where's Gene?
You know,
I
we
actually did
we've
have
got
that one
so
on
many.
my list.
You know what? Go ahead and play it quick. But we've got so many. Like I tried to go like just a couple from each expansion because there's so many expansions, and I
Okay.
knew that I could like dominate this with so many picks.
Yeah.
And
The base game probably has the heaviest amount of tracks. The expansions don't have as many.
Quite as many as the
Uh,
base
Yeah,
game.
the reason why I was okay with kind of letting this one go, it doesn't feel quite the same as a lot of the other tracks in the game, which do have that more down to earth kind of feel. This one's a little more elevated. A little
I
more
can't even
classy.
find it. Which one is it?
33.
33. Oh, there it is. Oh, Juno. There it is. I was looking for the wrong letter. I was looking for G instead of J. Okay. Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, like it's like a kind of.
Very royal, regal kind of
Yeah,
sound to
yeah.
it. Yeah.
yeah, Juno is the fourth nation. It's not one you start out in, but it's one where all three nations meet together. It's where the central. It is where the stories start colliding with one another. Is through Juno.
Yeah.
That's where things like start kicking off a lot in terms of the grand story.
Sure.
And it used to be a small fishing village, and then the Duke came in and turned it into this giant city of like aristocrats, and it's a big central place for like doing business and
Mm.
where the higher ups live. Like if you were Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg, you would
You live in
here.
Juno. That's
Yeah.
fun.
In the duchy.
yeah, and in the meta, that's where most of the players hang out. Like my home point is in Juno.
Mm.
It's in the Rilude Gardens, which is even more pompous.
Really?
Yes.
Like that's a really ritzy area. But yeah, Juno, that's where all the kids hang out.
Well, Final Fantasy XI has like a really kind of deep economy like within the game, right? I mean, like people make real life money on their Final Fantasy XI accounts. I've heard about, people selling their accounts for like large sums of money back in the day and stuff like that. So
It was very much the
oh shoot, we lost you there, Eric.
thing could be sold. Oh, really?
Okay, you're back now. You're back now.
Repeat
What
that
did you
one
say?
more time, Bill.
Okay. I was just saying the economy in its prime, very much the case, because almost a lot of drops could be sold in the auction house and they were very hard to get.
Yeah.
Nowadays, a lot of stuff is non-tradable.
Mm.
So the economy isn't as chaotic as it used to be, but yes, it's making money in the game is not easy. You need actual economic skills to take advantage of the market.
Yeah, instead of having your buddy who's played the game for 20 years just like hand you all the late level equipment and all the good stuff that you need, right? Trying to prevent that.
Mm.
All right, should we move on to some expansion stuff here? Where do you guys
Yeah.
want to start?
I think we should do the expansions in order. And
Okay.
Eric, since you like everything you have is from the first two expansions, I'll just kind of let you take point on this because I think that part of the game gets loved by the community so much, and so I'll just let you take over that, and I'll take over the parts that get less love, but I think are just as deserving of love.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good to me.
So,
okay.
where should we start?
So, Kazam, that is the first area you go to when you go to the new expansion area. So, you take an airship and you're going to a new continent, Elshmo, I believe it's called. And this is a jungle village where Mithras actually natively come from.
Mm.
So it's a village populated mostly by Mithra. And I saw someone's question in there. there are male Mithras in the game.
Yeah.
99% of the population are female, but there are the 1%, and they breed with that 1%, and most come out female.
Yeah.
But that's the Mithra thing. But yeah, this tribe build is fully laid out with them, and this is where you go right before you enter the Yotunga jungles, which is where you'll spend a decent amount of the expansion going through.
So this is a race that was added for the expansions, not in the base game.
No, Mithra is a base.
Oh, they were
But
in the
they,
base. As well.
The cat people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a
Okay.
playable race or no?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see a theme for a Mithra male and female here, but maybe I just missed it. So
Oh
There's
no,
a-
you
there's a
can only play
Theme
the
just because it's female only, and there's just one Galka theme because it's male only. So the
Ah.
male Mithras you can't play as.
oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, but they did that for 14, right? They added the oh no, those were the bunny race. Never mind. They had the whatever
they
they're
added a cat
called.
race in 14 also.
Yeah, they did. They did. I think they're called the Mikote or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your next pick?
Now this one is probably one of the most popular FF11 themes ever, which is interesting because there isn't too much that goes on story-wise in this area, except a few quests, but it's the area called Sanctuary of Zeta. And if you ask most FF11 players, like their top 5, almost always you're going to find Sanctuary of Zeta in there. And it's I don't know how exactly would you describe it, Greg? It's it's another kind of forested area, but it's got like much taller trees in it.
Yeah, I mean it's a fantastical forest. I guess like sort of take the forest from Sleeping Beauty with the really tall, thin trees, but then instead of make it like autumn and like no leaves on the trees, almost like just really like a more bleaker, twisted version of the Sleeping Beauty forest, maybe.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's the passage you have to go through before you get to Tulia, which is the quote unquote like the more final area of the expansion.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And credit for this. This was the only Rise of the Xylart track I had on my list because I wanted to have something to acknowledge in each expansion. So yeah, this one slaps. So what can I say?
So what is like the kind of the base premise of this first expansion? This
So,
is Rise of Xylart, right?
So here's a funny thing about this expansion is when you complete the base game, it's all sunshine and rainbows. But when you start this expansion, what's really funny is they do like a big retcon type thing, but they try to explain it. And they're like, well, we got to stop these new bad guys. And they're like, your character's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, don't you remember? And it takes you to a flashback to when after you beat Shadow Lord. And there's a whole other cutscene that happens after it where the next villains reveal themselves, and they're the ones who they were a race of people that lived before us, and they are wanting to not only bring that back but transcend into godhood that got them destroyed in the first place, and they want to get it right this time is basic gist of it. And you are going through a series of events to stop them from doing that.
Got it.
It's basically like if 2 people from Zeal were immortal, and then we're like, we're going to bring it back, baby, bringing it back. That's essentially what this expansion is.
Got it.
Mhm.
And for the sake of brevity, if anyone wants more details, you can watch my 11 video essay because I go into like a non-spoiler synopsis of each expansion for general
nice.
vibes. So
So it's
And,
totally non-spoiler. Do you have like a spoiler section and then a non-spoiler section kind
no,
of thing?
it's all just like general synopsis, giving you like the vibes for what it's going to be, the general premise, a couple important characters, themes, but I don't get into specific plot beats of what happens. I'm like, this is what it's like. This is the vibe of you kind of get from it. So it's really meant for people who haven't played 11 but are interested.
Cool.
And then resources like, hey, here's where you can watch all the cutscenes if you don't want to play the game type deal.
That's cool.
Mhm.
Any more from Xylart?
I'll do 2 more from Xylart.
Okay.
I think a big one is called Fighters of the Crystal, and this is another popular one Square Enix likes to pick a lot with FF11 crossover themes. And basically, this is the boss fight that you do against a specific group of what are called the Archangels, and each of them look like one of the races in the game.
Mm.
And what the theme is with them is that each of those races represent the negative aspects of them. So I have them like listed here. Like Hume is apathy, Elven is arrogance, Tarutaru is cowardice, Mithra is envy, and Galka is rage. And they reflect. And if you think back on the story up to that point, you tell yourself, oh yeah, these are how NPCs of these characters are like, and like negative in that way.
like
and
the vices of each race. Yeah.
right. And like even like the kind of weapons and stuff they use are like heavily represent that too. And these are who you have to fight. In the main game, you fight each one at a time, but there's a special fight where you have to fight all 5 at once.
Oh wow.
Which is yeah, it's pretty hardcore to beat, but but it's maybe you can show a picture afterwards, but
Sure.
But like they're essentially the guardians of the celestial nexus in the Hall of God / Tulia, and you have to defeat them to get to the main villains.
Gotcha. What's your last pick for Xylar?
Belief. This
Belief.
is, I believe, the final battle theme of the game.
Yeah, it seems like it because the next track is end theme. So,
Mhm.
oh, I like it so far.
And of
Yeah.
course, another epic final battle.
Yep, I like Mizuta a lot. I just got to say that right now. He's up there in terms of my favorite. I mean, all the Final Fantasy composers for the mainline series have been very good. I like Hamauzu a lot. I like all. I mean, I like all of them. But Mizuta for me is really rising in terms of my favorites in the series. I like him a lot. He's great.
Let's see
Like-
here.
Should we move on to the next expansion, which is what is it? Chains of Promathia.
Chains of Promathia. I don't have as many on this one.
Okay.
But I'll start with A New Horizon. So this is when you
New
first
Horizon. Where? Oh, there it is.
um,
I see it.
you start entering the new areas, and this is the area called Lufi's Meadows, and it's a beautiful grassland that you travel before you get to the ruins of Tavnasia. Like, you know, that nation that got destroyed 20 years ago in the CG?
Yes, in the
um,
FMV at the
like-
beginning.
Yeah, so you go through the Lufi's Meadows to get to the ruins of that city, or more like the Safehold that's under it. But you go through here, and it's one of the most relaxing themes ever.
Mm.
And that's like the first thing really you hear when you get into the expansion areas. Of course, there's Promethean before it, but that's one
And that's one of the coolest areas of the game, Primivian. That is like worth the price of admission. Seriously, the 2 of the coolest areas in the entire Final Fantasy series are in this expansion.
Nice.
And this is generally considered the best 11 expansion. I rank it number 2, but this, not to oversell it,
Ooh,
but this
I
is like
like this
FF7, FF6, FF9 level, like really good, worth the price of admission. When you get to this part 11, you'll understand why the people are just like, oh my God, 11's so good.
yeah.
Story-wise, zones, like all of it. Chains of Promathia is just like, it's one of the, if it was a standalone FF game, it'd be like in the upper echelon of the series.
I
Yeah,
really,
it is when
really
it
like
really
this
feels like
track a
that.
lot. I'm going to turn it up for a second. Like what it's doing here with whatever that instrument is that's kind of doing the picked arpeggio in the back.
Like a marimba type, like a wood,
Oh, you're right. It's probably a percussion.
like a wooden, I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah. It's really cool. All right, go ahead. What were you going to say,
Yeah,
Eric?
the pads are nice.
No, I wouldn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. What's your next pick?
Next one I'm going to jump straight from essentially the beginning to the end.
Okay.
This one's called the Celestial Capital Alteo,
Celestial.
and this is the final area before you get to the final dungeon of the game.
Mm.
And when you go to this place, it is such a bizarre, otherworldly type of area, because you're essentially getting close to what's called in the game the gates of paradise, like where the gods reside.
Mm.
So you see like all these like godly like structures and creatures there. They're like very neon like purple and white are like a big theme of it. And you're just hearing this theme, and you are essentially walking on top of what look like you're walking on top of water.
Yeah.
Like everything in the area is just like surreal and like doesn't follow the rules of nature,
That's cool.
which represents like its godly atmosphere.
Yeah, I really like the pads in this one. They're very. I don't know. It's just got. like, a
Go
really
to
cool feel.
35. Go to 3537 in that video I just sent. Mute it, but you'll be able to see what it's like. It's super cool.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull it up here. We're gonna go ahead and. mute the
35 what?
video.
35, 37.
minutes. 35 minutes.
35 minutes, 37 seconds.
Okay, almost got it. Right there. Ah, okay.
No, look at that. That's very cool.
I think
Right.
I went to a cut there. Let me go back and pause it on that. Okay, so we got like that little, like you're running on water.
Yeah, that's cool.
You got that like a big giant blue stingray underneath and some other floaty looking things out there in the distance, like purple, blue trees. Very cool.
And this is the area where the infamous notorious monster Absolute Virtue resides, and is considered like one of the hardest bosses ever made, and not just FF11 but MMOs as a whole.
Yeah.
And it took people years, probably nearly a decade, to properly figure out how to defeat it.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's an insane boss. I never beat it. Like I was
Really?
never in the group that beat it.
Yeah.
I was but anyways, if we want to go next one, this one is the final boss theme of called A Realm of Emptiness. I don't think it's on this list though. You might have
Yeah,
to
I might have to search that one up.
type it elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's called Realm of Emptiness.
Realm of Emptiness FF11. Sorry, internet goes a little slow while I'm streaming this and recording and doing everything at the same time. Realm of Emptiness
Mhm.
FF11. Looks like
And
they had
this
a
is-
Dissidia version of this too. Here's
Oh,
the.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see. I want to do. Not
this one's my personal favorite final battle theme of FF11.
All right, I got it playing now. I can see this boss here too. This is pretty cool design. Not on the screen, but
Yeah.
I think
Can't say much without
Kason
spoiling
would
it,
probably have fun analyzing this one symbolically.
Yeah.
but
lots of
this one's a
circles.
very big deal.
That's cool.
Around 50 seconds to start
Kicking in a little bit more.
looking up in kind of an FF13 type way.
I'm almost there. Oh, there it is. Nice. So, where would you rank Chains of Promathia, Eric, in as far as expansions go? Do you think it's the best one?
I think I may have to go with if you asked me before Rhapsody of Vana'diel, yes, but as a FF11 player, Rhapsody of Vana'diel is my favorite. But
That's is
Chains
that
of
the latest
Promathia,
one?
second latest one, technically.
Second
but
latest one.
yes, it does. It's the one that completely ends like the FF11 main story.
Got it.
But yes, Chains of Promathia. This is the one that made Final Fantasy 11 like feel so much like a Final Fantasy.
Mm,
Like this is the one that just stepped up its game immensely.
wow. In terms of like storytelling and stuff.
Yeah,
Storytelling, pacing, the way that like it's pacing between like story, dungeons, the type of biomes you visit where it really feels like a global adventure.
Yeah.
Like of all the expansions, Chains is the one that feels most like a standalone FF game where it could have been just like FF11, just this,
yeah.
and it would have been highly regarded,
Mm,
like story, gameplay, all that stuff.
cool.
and you have like actual NPCs that feel like party members of your group.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like the writing steps up so much where I understand falling off like base game. Like I totally get that. And the only reason I was able to keep going because I'd already seen the cutscenes for change. Like I know that's going to be so good. So that like got me going for it.
Maybe
Like,
that,
I
maybe
knew
I
I-
need to do that. Maybe I need to watch some cutscenes from the expansions first and then try to play the game again.
Mhm.
All right. Any
I got
more?
one more.
Okay.
This one's actually a lyrical theme, and you may have heard it before already.
Okay.
Distant Worlds.
Distant
But the concert's named
Worlds.
after.
That
It's
one's on my.
Is that's
on
not
my
in my
list.
list here? I'm gonna have to look that one up too, right?
This one goes full on in on the motif.
Distant Worlds FF11.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I think I got it here.
It's another one that starts off slow and works itself
Kind of
into
kicks
something
up a
grand.
bit later.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the context behind when this plays? Is this at the end of the
Yeah,
credits kind of thing?
it plays right at the end where like everyone is like resolved of their like of all their stories, and they're all like where will they go now type of deal.
Got it.
And like
So this
Final
is kind
cutscene song.
of yeah, like wrapping up the story of Promethea.
yeah, good way to put it.
Got it. I really like it. This feels. I mean, I've got it kind of turned down a little bit in my ears because, I'm trying to hear you guys too. But it sounds like it's a fully orchestrated piece. Like they were. It's not.
It does. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I like the singer too. You're right. I have heard this before. I
Yeah, I think if
probably
you've been to
probably
a
heard it at
concert, you've
the
heard it.
Distant Worlds concert. I was about to say I probably heard it.
Probably.
Yeah.
There's also a Japanese version of this same song.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
With a Japanese singer?
Yeah.
Mm.
Is it the same singer?
I don't know. I don't know. There are lyrics for that song in Japanese, though. I actually copied the lyrics of both into my. I don't know how you find it. Let me see if I can find it. There's Japanese lyrics for the song on the Final Fantasy Wiki.
Very nice. So
I
does that
but,
wrap us up
Oh, I see it now.
with Promethea?
That wraps up my list. I don't know if Greg has any personal ones he would like to mention.
Nah, I mean I love Promethea. Like I think it's worthy of all the hype and it's one of my favorite expansions. But for the sake of just keeping things moving, I'm good with moving on.
Okay. Well, what's the next expansion?
So next would be Treasures of Ottergon in 2006.
Nice.
And so the best way to describe this expansion is like Final Fantasy meets Seinfeld in a Middle Eastern setting, where it takes a much more comedic tone. It's you hanging out with your coworkers and like, going back to work every day and that kind of vibe. But then it still builds into like big epic, oh, gods are going to destroy the world stuff. But it's like, it's really great because it gives you like a Final Fantasy story, but like with a different flavor and twist.
Sure.
And so it's a lot of fun. Of course, town themes have to be played. So Bustle of the Capital is my first pick for
Okay.
Treasures of Ottergon. It's the main town theme that you hear in Ottergon.
It's called Bustle of the Capital.
Yes.
Oh, do you know
And
what?
all of mine are
If we-
directly
yeah,
linked in the,
so,
in
yeah,
the
I
Discord.
have
You can
your
just,
link, so I can just click them moving forward.
you can just click. I'm ready for you, man.
You got me. Okay. We got to go past Xylar and Promethea to this one right here. All right.
Man, I love this expansion. It is it's that story that's like, okay, we just went through all this epic stuff with Chains of Promethea. Let's take a little break over here and have some fun
Yeah.
for a little while.
It gives you a little bit of a
Pirates.
breather after the epic stories.
Right.
I
It's
love
still
the
really good.
percussion on this. The percussion on this is fantastic. Ooh. Love the melody too. Yeah, this is a good pick, man. I like this one a lot. So what's the
Yeah.
context behind this area, or is this a town, I guess?
Yeah, so this is a town from the Ottergon Empire. This is the capital city. And so they've been like a xenophobic, closed-off nation, like not allowing outsiders for years. And so they finally allow outsiders. So you take a boat and you're literally on the boat ride like with other players going to Aragon, and this is like the city that you like is sort of your base of operations for the expansion.
Gotcha. Love it. It's great. Okay.
And
go ahead.
And so my other track from Treasures of Aragon, because I'm trying to keep it just like a couple for each expansion because there's so many expansions. The final boss theme
Ragnarok
is just pure hype. It's just freaking sick.
All right, we're pulling it up here.
Ragnarok.
Okay. Where would this rank among your favorite battle themes, Greg?
This is pretty high. This might be my favorite battle theme in 11.
Yeah.
Just because the hype level is just so cool because spoilers if you don't want to hear 3, 2, 1. The final boss is Alexander. And so
cool.
just like the
Oh.
countdown and just so much hype. It's just so cool.
That's
It's so cool, man.
The area that's in is really cool. It's like a underwater area.
It's like a underwater research facility of like a ancient civilization. So it's kind of like it's a callback to FF8, but they do it in a way where it looks really fresh. And so it's a fun twist on that idea.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. I feel like Mizuta is like this feels very different in terms of like the way he composed battle themes like back in the base game. But it's like a maturing. And I don't know how much experience he had composing before coming into 11, but like I feel like this is a really seasoned sort of like battle piece. Whereas the others were a little bit more simple. And maybe that was a choice based on hearing them a lot versus this is one you're going to hear just that one time maybe. But it's really layered. There's a lot going on here. I really like it. All right. Let's move on to Wings of the Goddess, 2007. So it looks like you got Windurst. So this is what you were talking about earlier with the...
Yeah, this is the time travel expansion. And this is, in my opinion, the best 11 expansion. It's a little bit of a hot take because this one, it took a really long time to come out. And so it came out in patches and people say it's too long and it took too long to come out. But I think story-wise, this is 100% the best 11 has ever been. This is very much a war story, and this is the best Final Fantasy has ever tackled a war plot, in my opinion. Just like all the nuances of it, like down to like the losses and like trying to keep your spirits high during times of war, and that Chrono Trigger like time travel parallel back and forth aspect. This and also like one of the best individual character arcs. This is just like the home run of the game for me.
I really, really like this song. This is a really, really good piece. Like, I have all these attachments to the base game music, but like I'm hearing these and it's like, these are phenomenal. They're phenomenal. Like, Mizuta doesn't miss, man. This man is incredible.
And I agree with you.
It's amazing.
I really like Wings of the Goddess too. I do agree that the patches were really far apart on it. But if you play it like all collected together as a whole, like nothing interrupting on the way, it is a really good story. It's a time traveling story, above all else, but the war aspect is really good, and the Beastmen are legitimately like more scary. Like in this one, like they're like much more powerful than they are perceived in the base game.
How do they accomplish that? Is that just through like mechanics in terms of fighting them, or do they like give more dimension to the culture of Beastmen, to the characters themselves? Yeah,
both.
Yeah,
that's
both.
Good. That's good to hear.
Like, and aesthetically,
the
they're like more armor clad and like beefier looking weapons and like wearing scarier masks, stuff like that.
Cool.
And they commit greater atrocities, and so you really feel like the depth of like, because in the base game it's like times of relative peace, but this is when you're actively at war with them and you're seeing the destruction and deaths that they cause. I mean, again, I can't say enough good things about this expansion. And as Eric was as saying, like when you play it as one continuous thing, it flows very well. So any issues with pacing when it first came out, it doesn't matter now because you can play it as like one. It feels like a standalone FF game in the best way.
Right. That's cool. Okay, the next one you have here is the Bastak theme from Wings of the Goddess. Going up here. Here we go. So these are all different themes. So they're like, they don't have the same melodies as their counterparts in the base game. But they're
Right, they're
meant to kind of evoke the same sentiment just from a different time.
Yes, exactly. And so this is what you would hear when you're in Bastok in the past, because it's a full explorable city.
Yeah.
So there's the past Winters, the past Bastok, the past Sandoria. And so this is what plays when you're in that town.
Cool. So
And the areas look very different too on top of that. Like
Oh, do they?
it's the area, but like how it's set up is like very different. It's like set up ready for war instead of like looking like times of peace. Like you see like a bunch of barricades and like steel walls, stuff like that.
But is it the same roughly map otherwise? Like
No,
the
it's
tr-
actually completely different.
Really?
It's really like it has the same motifs, and so it feels like the city, but also feels like the layout is different and you can't get to certain areas because they're barricaded off. And it's for all the cities. So it doesn't feel like, oh, we're just lazy and reusing assets. Like it really feels, I would say like Chrono Trigger, but even more difference in the terrain.
Yeah.
Well,
It's only
I just wonder-
recognizable enough.
Yeah, I just wonder how they would explain that. I mean, because if the entire, countryside is a completely, like, landscape is completely different, that wouldn't really make sense. Or am I understanding what you're saying wrong?
It's more just like different parts are blocked off because of like battle damage. And so you're going to
Oh.
different parts you wouldn't have gone to otherwise.
Got it. So it's like just a different area that wasn't accessible base game wise. Now the base
Right.
game area isn't accessible. Here's a different part of that landscape kind of a thing.
Yes.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay, and then we've got next Everlasting Bonds. What's the context for this track?
All right, so this is like the sad song at the end of the expansion where you're going to be bawling your eyes out over the emotional ending. So this is like, get your tissues ready. Oh my God, I am so freaking sad right now. It's so beautiful. And what's great about this one is this is the one I was talking about with the weird instrumentation, because the keyboard tone that they use, like the synthesizer keyboard tone, is like a late 80s, early 90s AOR kind of thing, like you'd hear in like a Styx record of that era, or like Richard Marx. And you don't hear that in RPGs.
No.
That is not a sound that has been incorporated into the general palette, but it works so well here. And then you get like the violin and just like, chef's kiss. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's really great. Again, this feels like it was a real instrument recorded here. This isn't like a violin sound font. This is like a performer actually playing this one. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Very cool.
Okay, should I wait a little bit? Does it kind of change directions, or do we more or less get the vibe about a minute and a half into this?
You get the vibe. We can keep going, and
Okay.
people want to listen to more. I encourage them to listen to
By
more.
all means. Okay, so we get into the next expansions. What are you wrote Kato expansions? So there's more than one?
Yeah, so basically, Masato Kato did the story for the base game, and then left 11 and came back for 3 different mini expansions.
Okay.
And so each of those expansions are like maybe like 5 to 10 hours. So not like the full 40 hours expansion storyline, but like, bigger than like a normal DLC, like a pretty decent amount of gameplay and story. And 2 of them I think are like amazing and awesome. And then one of them is kind of a letdown. But this is the best track from the expansions. This is from the one where you're fighting the Mughal Mafia, and the main guy from the Mughal Mafia transforms into a giant super Mughal and is the final boss of that expansion.
Oh my goodness.
And it's tremendous.
That's
I'm
great.
going to guess the one you find disappointing is a crystalline prophecy.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. So that's the one where spoilers for FF11, but that's where it really focuses on Aldo from the opening cutscene and his relationship with his sister.
Mm.
And I think Kato felt, I go over this in my essay, but Kato felt, I think, limited by the medium of like an MMO, and you can't change the world too much. And so he wasn't able to give a proper resolution to that storyline. But what's really interesting, because Kato's done that brother-sister thing in like Chrono Trigger and other games. He has a game called Another Eden, which is a spiritual successor to the Chrono games.
No, cool.
It's like a time travel game, but the main character is named Aldo, and his plot line is about saving his sister from the Beast King.
Yeah, he
Which
does a
is
lot
what
of that in that
Pinnacle
game where
Catalog.
it's basically Chrono Trigger characters and basically, but just barely avoiding copyright, but more or less
Right,
just
but
doing
it's
the same stories.
But the way he handles that storyline in that game it really makes me feel like a writer's like, I didn't nail it the last time, let me do it again. The fact that it's named Aldo, saving his sister from the Beast King, it really feels like he wanted to take one more crack at that brother-sister story,
Yeah.
and he nails it in Another Eden. It's so great.
Nice.
Okay. For those who don't know who Masato Kato is, by the way, he worked on Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross, kind of as like the main scenario writer, particularly in Chrono Cross and Radical Dreamers, which was like a little visual novel kind of thing that came out that led into Chrono Cross. But yeah, he's great. He's a legendary SquareSoft scenario writer. Okay, let's go to the next one here, which is in, looks like Abyssia, Scarlet Skies.
Yeah, so Abyssia is sort of the big breaking point in the 11 community where people, like a lot of fans dropped off during this expansion. So basically what happened with this expansion is mostly just an excuse to do a bunch of battlefields and grind for gear.
Mm,
And so there's very little story. You're going to a parallel version of Vanadil where like you lose in one of the other expansions. And this is the alternate timeline where like everything bad happened. And so it's very bleak, it's very desolate, it's very lonely, there's not much population. And so in the meta of the game, people got upset because people could get good gear faster. And so they're just like, the game is ruined because I don't have to spend as long grinding for gear. I'm just like,
that
sounds
actually
good.
sounds like an improvement to me.
yeah. So but
Wasn't
anyways,
this the one where they increased the level cap?
yeah, they increased the level cap too, but also there's level cap quests. So once you reach a certain level, the only way to get past that level is you go out of your way and do a quest. So really, like, this is all just completely optional, but they're like, the game is ruined because now I can choose to be stronger or choose to play the same as before. So like you can still limit yourself the same way. And it's been a big point of controversy as to whether or not this ruined the game or not. I'm just like, I don't know, it's fine. But the song just like captures this desolate, bleak, like parallel version of Vanadil where like no one's alive and just the loneliness that it encapsulates.
Yeah.
Like the vibes are just off the chart in Abyssia. It's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It's a good piece. Okay. And then we've got next is from Seekers of Adolin.
Yeah, Dolan.
Breaking
Yeah,
Ground.
I say Adolin, but might be Adolin. So basically, this expansion is sort of the last quote unquote true expansion where you had to buy like the expansion pack as a separate release.
Right.
I think this was the last one that was released on the PlayStation 2. And it's basically you're going to another continent and helping develop this city-state by like, getting rid of like vines and cutting down trees in the wild. And so this is a song that plays when you're getting rid of obstacles in the wild areas where they treat them like battles, like you are literally like slashing at the rocks like you're slashing an enemy, but you're also defending yourself from the enemies around you. And this one is just like that bass is just so freaking good.
That's great.
It's just this is phenomenal. This is one of my favorites in the game.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got to stop you
colonizing
for a
nature
second.
hard.
I got to stop you for a second. You're telling me that Seekers of Adolin, which was released in 2013, was released on the PlayStation 2?
Yes, sir.
Holy
Even a physical
crap.
copy.
That's
wild.
unbelievable to me. That's so crazy. They're
That is
still
7
releasing.
years after the PS3 launched, right?
Yeah, they're still releasing the expansions on PS2 as late as 2013.
When did the PS4 launch?
Pretty,
2013.
I think that year or the year after.
PS4 was 2013. Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's wild.
They
And I'm
were
gonna give
obligated to it for a long time, but they finally shut it down. I forgot what year did the PS2 version get shut down.
I think it was like right around. I think it was right before Rhapsody, so maybe it was like 2015. It was like right around that era.
Yeah, because there's no PS2 copy of Rhapsodies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Rhapsody is just like you don't have to pay extra for it. It just comes included with the game. So and this is when we had a different producer come in, Akihiko Matsui, who was also on Chrono Trigger. He was one of the directors.
Mhm.
He became the producer of the game, and this is when like 11 started getting really heavy like budget cuts and staff cuts, but he just kept insisting on putting out new story content. And so it's basically through like his sheer willpower that the game like kept adding new stuff from this point. And I have like so much respect for him because when he talks about the game, you can tell he has so much passion for 11 and just really, really cares. And so a lot of people write off Latter Day 11 because like, oh, it's not the early stuff that I played back when I was 12.
Right.
But like Secrets of Adulan, great story, great gameplay, great music. And again, you can feel Matsui's passion for the game. Like you can tell he really loves FF11.
I was just going to say, the whole leadership of this project would have been handed over here because Hiromichi Tanaka, who was like the producer director of like the original base game and through the first expansions and stuff, he was taken off to go make the base Final Fantasy XIV 1.0, which had already at this point been a huge, dramatic, gigantic failure. And they had to then remake the whole game into A Realm Reborn, which I think launched right around this time too, right?
Same year.
Yeah,
2013.
Yeah. So we're already way into Final Fantasy XIV's lifespan at this point, which is nuts. Okay, so then we've got from the same one, Mog Resort.
Yeah, so in Secrets of Adulan, you get your own private beach paradise called your Mog Garden, where you can fish, you can plant crops, you can hang out with your Moogle friends. So it's like a Mog house, but instead of a house, it's a garden. So you can still change your job, access your inventory there, but you just get like this private beach vibe.
I like
Play
it.
mini games. It is nice. And there's even like a little like quest line in there too. So it's just the vibes.
Very,
Vibes, man.
very homey feel to it. This is
I
a
like
Kaysen track for sure.
I like it. I could chill to this. This is fun.
Yeah, it feels very much like you could fish to this, for
Yes,
hours on
exactly.
end.
Like I mostly
like
stick
that.
with main story in 11. I'm mostly a main story guy, but I just can't help hanging out in the Mog because the vibes are so good. I'm just like, I could just hang out here forever.
Yeah, this is great. I really like that because they kind of had that guitar and other stuff, but then they bring in this. I don't know what instrument that's supposed to be.
That's a good question.
It seems
I
like a
don't know.
synthesizer, but then I was listening to it, so maybe that's actually some kind of like airy flute or something like that. But anyway, it's great. It's great. Great track. Good pick. All right, now we're moving to Rhapsodies of Vana'diel. This is the one that Eric said was his favorite expansion, right?
This is essentially like the Avengers Endgame of like FF11, where like everything from before just like comes together and like you ultimate like evil of the game, I'll
Gotcha.
say, without spoiling it.
So this
Yeah,
one's
that's-
called Whale of the World.
Whale of the Void.
Oh, the
did I say
Void,
world?
sorry.
I might have typed that wrong.
No, I read it incorrectly. That's my bad. Whale of the Void.
All right, so this is the final boss theme of Rhapsodies of Vana'diel. And what's really great about it is so Rhapsodies is sort of the like Eric was saying, the Avengers Endgame, where like all the storylines come together. So they're kind of self-contained stories, but this brings everything together. And while you're fighting the final boss, like visions of the past of your adventures are playing in the background. And so it's like this really bittersweet, emotional final battle, because this is when they thought 11 was going to be like shut down after this, and they thought this was going to be the final hurrah. So let's wrap all these storylines together, include them, say goodbye to 11 in the right way. And like for a final boss theme, it's so unique, it's so different and so beautiful, and just
that.
really captures the finality of it. And then it's funny because another storyline comes after this, but it's really great.
Yeah, because this is a very slow piece, a lot of kind of like somber piano and stuff, but you're saying this is during a boss battle, so
This is the final boss,
very
and
interesting
it's a
choice.
hard fight. And this is not an easy fight. Like it'll rock your world, man.
Yeah, it's very hard if you try to do it by yourself. I definitely had to have someone come in and help me with it.
Yeah.
It's hard with a party too. This is a rough fight. Like this is a brutal fight, and so you're like, this sounds pretty, but like it is a rough fight. But I think that adds even more to the beauty of it because it's like you're fighting for your life. You're so desperate, and that just adds to like the bittersweet feelings.
So you're saying that they were thinking this was going to be the end of Final Fantasy 11, and this was released in 2015, so 10 years ago, and the game is
Yeah.
still going.
Yeah.
Matsui does
this
not
is-
stop. He's like, I'm not giving up on 11 until I'm dead.
That's
What I
awesome.
also love about it is like this is the game where like it reminds you that you really are the main character of this story and world.
Mm.
And it goes out of its way to make sure you know that. And this expansion in general is like just a gigantic thank you to like the players up to that point. Like almost 15 years the game is out at that point, and it's just
Yeah.
a giant thank you to everyone who's played the game for years. And you could just tell through the story and the stuff to say in it. I think there's like even a point where one of the characters is like in a meta type of way talking to you,
Yeah.
saying like thank you for being on this adventure with us for all these years.
Yeah. I like
And
it.
It made me feel heavy. Like it makes you teary-eyed if you're someone who's been enduring the goods and bads of the game.
been
Yeah.
on the roller coaster, the ups and downs of FF11 for a decade or
Mhm.
more at this point. Definitely more than a decade. That's a really beautiful piece. I like that one a lot. Okay, and then we've got, it looks like some kind of Japanese title here, Rhapsodies of Vanadil, same expansion. But you're telling
Yeah,
me to
so this-
skip to about 4 minutes, 50 seconds into the
It's a
song.
long track. So, but this is basically the song that plays during the actual end credits of Final Fantasy XI. But what's really unique about this track is that it features the vocals of actual 11 players.
Oh,
They had like a post on the Planline website, like, sing this part. And
Wow.
then everyone from all around the world submitted them singing this part, and they became the chorus that plays during the song, which is played during the end credits, and sort of like
Wow.
a culmination of the entirety of Final Fantasy XI. So these are actual 11 players in the game, forever enshrined in the soundtrack, and just it's really, really cool.
what a cool idea. That is
That's
such a
really
great
cool.
idea. I love
It's
that.
the main
I like that.
it's the main march, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Vanadil
Yeah, from
marching
the
theme.
base
Yeah,
game.
Yep.
that's incredible. What a great idea. I really, really like that.
Man,
Yeah.
hearing you guys talk about it, it's like, dude, I feel like I've really missed out on something special. You know?
Are you one of the voices, Greg? Because
I
don't remember
am not,
seeing this, so I'm not
unfortunately.
part of it.
No, I came into the game pretty late. I played like 2022, as I think when I hopped on. So that was when the Voracious Resurgence was like midway through and it hadn't yet finished. So I actually had to do like now I have to wait for the story to resolve and wait for the updates and wait for the patch to play the next part. But
Right.
now that storyline is resolved, I'm caught up, baby.
Yeah. Are they still going to bring out more, or are they done for real this time?
You never know.
You never know, because they always say like they're done for real, but they did a big survey recently where they're like, do you guys want more story content? People said yes. And also the servers are overpopulated. So they've got a new producer now who's like, he's more concerned just like, I just don't want the game to crash.
Yeah.
Like he's
Right.
not ambitious like Matsui. Versus
We-
Matsui's
we
like,
call
I must
that,
add more story.
yeah.
We call
So
that a managed decline.
yeah.
It's just like, we're just going to keep it as long as possible, but as it goes down, instead of trying to
Yeah.
reinvigorate it, you know?
Yeah.
But,
There's
but because the
times-
population's booming, people want more. And so, like, the survey says people want more story. And I think Matsui is still, like, on staff. He's not the producer anymore, but he's still, like, hanging around. So if this last expansion is the last one, I wouldn't be surprised. But also, I'd be equally unsurprised, like, oh, there's a new one. Cool.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
There are
great.
many people that will try to convince you the game is in maintenance mode right now.
Yeah.
And yes, the game mostly just releases like battle challenges and stuff like that nowadays. But like he said, like no one expected the most recent expansion to come out. Like,
Yeah.
like I never thought that would happen. I thought Rhapsody
Right.
of the
It just
Vanadil
wrapped
was
up
it
2 years
and
ago.
just
That's
go-
nothing in MMO time. Just 2 years ago.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so
and we have to look at it.
That expansion is called the Voracious Resurgence. Came out in 2020, but like
Yeah.
you said, they expanded on it over the years after that.
They had so little staff and budget. That was the only way they could get it out, is just like little chunks, little chapters.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so like I understand like, oh, you guys have like no resources. The fact that you're even doing this is a freaking miracle.
Yeah.
Like with the PS2
Yeah.
dev kits not like working anymore, like again, a miracle it even exists. And the fact that they did it is like why I like am waving the banner for 11, because I just respect them so much as artists. Like that's
Yeah.
just freaking cool, man.
That's really
That is
cool.
cool.
So this song is called Goddess Speed, the one that you picked from this final expansion. I
Yeah.
love the bass. That hits me right away. I like the snare too. The great snare. Ooh. This is fantastic.
Yeah. And again, Mizuta hasn't lost a step. He is
He
just still
sure
just
hasn't, man.
and like there's an entire soundtrack for this expansion. It's not just like, oh, I did one or two. Like there's an entire soundtrack of just songs from the Voracious Resurgence. Like
Yeah.
20 years later, this is so and it's this good. It's so insane.
This is actually one of my favorites, I think, so far from all of the expansion work we've been listening to. I really
like
like
this.
this one a lot.
Oh no, this is a highlight. And so many people write off everything the game did after Chains of Promathia, and I'm just like, you are missing out on so much, even just from a musical level. But story-wise, gameplay-wise, like there's some amazing zones. So, Kason, if you're feeling lazy, just watch my 2-hour 11 video. That'll give you like the vibes the entire game. Then you don't need to like watch 900 plus cutscenes on Corvanda's channel.
Yeah.
Because there's so
Yeah.
much story. It's ridiculous how much story there is. People think there's no story in 11. It has more story than any other game in the series. I haven't gone through all of 14 yet, but other than 14, which is my question mark, by far the most story is contained in 11.
Yeah. And how much of that would
Well-
you say is like upper tier, like really, really great, among the greats of the series?
I would say bare minimum Chains of Promathia and Wings the Goddess. That's like the FF6, 7, 9 territory, those two expansions. And those I view as like essential for FF fans. Treasures of Outergon is really fun, and the sitcom vibes, like it's a hair lower than them, and because it has the sitcom vibes, it's like a different energy, but
Yeah.
it's still really good. So I
That's
would
the
say
coolest blue mages ever.
oh yeah, the best blue mages in the series lore wise are definitely in Treasure of Outergon. Like the blue mage lore is amazing in that expansion.
Nice.
Like good call bringing that up. I would have totally forgotten.
Mhm.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've kind of come to the end of your list here. But this has kind of pumped me up to try Final Fantasy 11 again.
Me too.
And
I should've-
But look,
I'm going to do it differently this time. I'm going to solo it more so than trying to schedule it with people to play with like I have in the past. I think that'll help me get through it a little better, kind of like I did with Final Fantasy 14 when I finally broke through and actually beat A Realm Reborn. But just a lot of this music, it like Kason was saying, it gets me interested in the stuff I don't have context for. I kind of want to see where this fits into the broader story of the game.
And not to do shameless plugs again, but my big 11 video essay has gameplay tips at the end. You will definitely want those because they like are what I did a Word doc before I started the game, and those are like the tips I did in research. And everyone I've ever played 11, I've sent the list to, and they're like, "Oh my god, dude, you helped me so much."
Yeah.
So use the tips at the end of the video.
I totally will. I'm probably not going to jump into it for a while because we just got started on our new remade Final Fantasy retrospective series, so it's going to be a little while till we get to 11. But I'm not skipping it this time. Last time I got through the series, I went from 10 to 12 and 12 to 13, and then I was going to go from 13 to 15 and then go back to the MMOs after that. This time I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go from 10 to 11 and then 11 to 12. So there will be a need to play through it, and I will definitely use your videos as a resource for that, Greg.
And I'm going to say
Yeah.
one tip that'll help you out, Mike, that I think will really make it work better for you. And this is going to be controversial. Get to 99 before you beat the base game.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know people are going to complain about that. Like, oh, you're going to make it too easy. Like, no, plow through the story, get to 99, do that first. You're going to have a much better time with it. You'll beat the Shadow Lord in like less than a minute, and it's going to feel very silly doing it that way.
yeah.
But then you're going to not have to grind, and you can just flow through the story.
Yeah.
That is the biggest recommendation I have for you. Get to 99 first. I've got the tips in the video for like a
How to
longer
do that.
explanation on that, but trust me, you will love it much more that way, and you can focus on the story.
I actually that's it almost sounds exactly like the way I would want to do it anyways. Where if I don't want to get bogged down or get to places where it's okay, I would like to move on to the next story beat, but I can't. Those types of things tend to frustrate me. So
Yeah.
I think you're
Well,
right call.
I'll
for
tell
me
you what
there.
the actual frustrating things will be. Well, first off, he's right.
The level cap
The
quest.
level 99, well, level cap quest, yes, but getting to level 99 should be a big thing. Once you have a 99 character and a decent enough gear on it, you can tackle the whole game no problem, like you said. I think what will actually stop you, especially if you did playthroughs, which I actually don't recommend doing, like live stream playthroughs, is
Oh yeah.
the game has very notorious quests that say, please wait till next game day.
So you have to get off and
And
log on the next day.
well, not necessarily next day,
No,
but you have
it's
1
like
to
it's
2
it's a
hour
timed
gaps.
wait. So Vanadil days are like
Oh,
an hour.
the in-game day.
Yeah,
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay.
and there's some that actually reset at Japanese midnight, which I believe is 9 o'clock your time.
Yeah.
Before daylight savings.
I think so.
um,
Yeah.
I tell
Yeah,
you, one
but
of the worst
there's
of
only a couple of
users-
those, and they're mostly in Chains of Promathia, and they're like at a good stopping point where like you'd want to rest for the night anyway. So it's not like, oh no, I can't play anymore. It's like, I've been playing for a while. I'm going to take a break.
Sure.
Mhm.
They're not that bad.
All right. Well, anything else you guys would like to say about Final Fantasy XI or its music before we wrap up here? I think this has been great. I haven't heard any of these tracks from the expansions before, so this has been new for me.
In terms of purely the music, it is definitely one of my favorite soundtracks ever in any game.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm trying to fall asleep at night, this is the music that I will turn on the TV, on like on a YouTube app, let it run through the whole thing and just like sleep through the night,
Mhm.
like right and such. In terms of like Final Fantasy as a whole, I would definitely put it at a S tier soundtrack for me. I could say one is better than the other for expansions, but as a whole collection, I like it more than most of the soundtrack. I think maybe Final Fantasy 9 and 7 may top it,
Yeah.
but it's definitely in the higher tier for me.
Yeah. I'll just jump in real quick there and say that I hadn't, like I said, ever listened to any of the expansion stuff until today. I'm talking just the base game's soundtrack. While I had always sort of had my grievances with Final Fantasy XI as a game and my difficulties with bouncing off of it and stuff, I still always consider the soundtrack in my top 5 favorites of the series. I think the soundtrack's incredible. So, anything else?
I'll do some closing thoughts and then let Kaysen speak, but not make him speak too much because he's still a little sick. So I sort of my like favorite music in general. I mean, I like a lot of stuff, but I grew up listening to like classic rock bands. But I started listening to them when I was in high school after they all had like 30 plus albums.
Yeah.
And so most fans, they like the first couple records and then like, oh, but I don't care about the rest. But because I came in later, I appreciate the entire breadth of what that catalog had to offer. And that's how I am with 11, both in terms of like the gameplay and, you know, even just purely the music.
Yeah.
You know, so many people write off everything after 2006 because that's when they stopped playing. But there's just so much richness there and such a rich history where this game is like an entire series in and of itself. Because each expansion is basically like a standalone FF game, aside from the mini expansions, which together is like one FF game because that's going to be like 30 hours between the three of them. But there's just such a rich history. And Mizuta is just so slept on. He's been doing this game soundtrack for 20 years and hasn't lost a step and arguably has gotten better because that last track you heard is from the new expansion
Yeah.
that came out in 2020 and that's one of your favorites.
Yeah, it's
so
fantastic. I
shout
love
out to
it.
Mizuta.
He's
That man
fantastic.
deserves more work.
Oh, totally does. Absolutely does.
Yeah.
All right, Kaysen, you got anything or?
Yeah, Goddess Speed. It might be my favorite track of all of this, and I hadn't even. It's one of the ones I hadn't even listened to until just now. This, I mean, all I can say is that this game's special. Like this game's more special than I had realized, and it comes through in the music. Just listening to the music, I have never cared to play FF11, and I don't know when I can do it, but I want to try to fit it in at some point now. Like, this seems like something I'd want to be a part of. I'd want to experience that.
Yeah.
You know, that would be more valuable than I used to think. So I'm excited. I mean, just the music can pull me in like that. You're telling me there's good story content too. I mean,
You can watch the Carvana cutscenes. Carvana has all the expansions except for the Racist Resurgence on YouTube. And so that's what got me hooked, because I started watching the cutscenes like, wait a minute, this is actually really good. And then I started getting really far, like, oh shoot, this is one of the best FF games. All right, yeah, I got to play it.
crazy.
As a parent, also, I 100% understand this is not like a light game to tackle, especially when you have like a hectic schedule
Yeah.
of dealing with kids and such. So it is one of those times where I would probably say, you know, like at least watch the cutscenes of what he just recommended,
Okay.
and get the you know, at least get like the story content in.
Yeah.
I think Mike might be a little more ambitious and, you know, just want to get the experience as a whole.
I've got
but-
to, if I'm gonna do a video on it, I've got to at least record my own footage, right? I can't just go
Right.
steal other people's gameplay footage. So I've got to get through it at least for that purpose. But I'm looking forward to it.
I borrowed some footage. I'm just like, man, I'm not playing that part again, because I played it without making any intention of making a video on it. So I did
Sure.
record some of my own footage, but like, there's this one mountain that's really obnoxious to climb. Like, man, I'm just gonna borrow from someone else's channel and give them credit, because that is so much.
Yeah.
Oh, that mountain! I know what you're talking about.
you know what I'm talking about.
Atoa Chasm. Yeah. Yeah, that's such a weird mountain, because it's not like you climb like a normal mountain. It's expecting you to know how to work. I don't even know how to explain it, how to work around the game's like.
You know what?
collision
Let's
systems.
let Mike be surprised by it. He'll find out when he gets there. Let's not squirrel the mountain for him.
Oh, you'll hate it. You will.
I'm sure I
hate it.
will. I'm sure I will. I do not expect to ever become like a big fan of MMO game design conventions, but I do think that similarly to how I have recently kind of broken through my Persona hangups with Persona 3, that there's probably a threshold I just need to break through in terms of FF11 to where I can get in sync with it and enjoy the parts that make it special. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's expecting you to be like, "Oh man, I love this so much. Now I got to join the end game and do the grind of the game." But
I don't even do that.
to enjoy the story.
Busy.
It's
Yeah.
You'll get to the end of Rhapsody of the Vana'diel and just be like, "Yes, all that time and blood, sweat, and tears was just worth going through all of it."
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us. That was a great episode. I feel I mean, of course, there's a lot of music here that we just wouldn't have had time to cover unless we wanted to do this for 5 hours. And so that's just the nature of MMOs. But hopefully we've at least been able to go over the big things, the big important tracks, the ones that really stick out, and get some people interested in the game a little bit. Maybe go try it out for yourselves or go listen to the soundtrack. But appreciate you guys coming on and talking with us for a couple hours tonight. Appreciate your enthusiasm, your passion for FF11. It would have been sorely missing if Kason and I tried to do this ourselves. So we needed that. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us. You wouldn't have heard Godspeed if I wasn't here, so I'm
That's-
glad to contribute.
That's very true. Thank you for that. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.